Today's Halloween challenge, we're going to be looking at a funky little trick that, it could be called many things. We are looking at it in terms of that it is the Thriller pose. We all know the Thriller music, iconic around Halloween. So the Thriller pose, where we keep our dogs like getting in the Thriller moves. So you could call it a beg, but I say roll with the Halloween theme. So this is a position where they sit down and they lift their front half up. So they're sitting up straight with their paws like so, hence Thriller. Again, it's not necessarily easy. You're not going to crack this in one day, but it will take a few days for you to develop this. It may take longer because it requires an awful lot of core strength and muscle development from your dog. So first things first, you need to get them sitting squarely, because that's going to make it easier. So when they sit, if they sit a little bit lazy with their hip out or sit kind of back a little bit further and stick their legs out, you want a nice square sit so that when they sit, they are tucked in, feet kind of, legs all kind of like tucked in nicely. They don't lollop onto one hip. That's what we need as a starting position. And then we're going to add in some extra bits. So we've got a nice square sit. We're then going to get some treats. They are good to lick and nibble, and we're simply going to lift their, again, he knows this, he might do too much, but we want to just lift their head up into this position, so they're stretching, and we're going to mark and reward that. So we break these tricks down, hang on, into really easy, manageable steps. Sit. Yes. So we're just stretching that neck up. This is getting them used to stretching. This is step one. So when your dog is happily just stretching that neck up for the treat, mark and reward just the stretch. Nice. Once they're happy stretching that neck up, step two, sit down, is that we stretch up far enough that they start to move these toes. And any foot movement, like there, did you notice Sherbert's foot just lifted off the ground? That's what we're going to mark and reward. So it's not the whole move we need straight away. So if they do it too soon, they're not going to have the muscle strength to be able to support themselves. And then they're going to start putting their paws on your hands and arms to support themselves, which just doesn't make you look good. Sit. So stretch up. Any form of movement with those toes, even if it's just a little lift like that, we're going to mark and reward. Obviously, they start to do more. Brilliant. And here we get little jumps. That's perfect too. Just going to keep using that treat lure. And you'll start to see that naturally, and this is it's going to take time. He's got the core strength to be able to do it. Naturally, they're going to start lifting up further and further and further. And we're just using that treat to encourage them to lift their body. Every time they get better at this, then we expect a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Each session goes straight back to the beginning, because we're then just reminding them of the basics and going through almost like a little trick warm-up to develop the skills and remind them of how we break it down before we expect too much. Are you done, Sherbs? Come on then. Sit. So again, the next step, when they're used to lifting their feet up, we're then going to strive for only having 2 feet up in the air. We're not going to expect them to hold the position because, again, they're not used to it. We just want 2 feet to come up and we're going to mark and reward straight away. Oi. So we're just then stepping it up and going, now it's not just your neck stretching, it's not just one foot moving, I want both feet lifting up off the floor. If you've got a smaller dog like Sherbs, this is going to be slightly easier because they have less body to move. If you've got a bigger dog, whether it's in height or just a larger build, they're going to find this harder because they have more body to move, quite simply. And naturally, bigger dogs find it a little bit harder. They take longer to get to their sort of final age and stage of development. So they're not used to their bodies as much as smaller dogs are. And if you've got a young dog, again, and they're not fully grown, they will find this a little bit harder because they're just not used to how their body can move. And it takes a lot of self-confidence to be able to lift that front up and rely on the back end. What can happen, some problem sort of troubleshooting, that's the word, sit, is that when you're doing this, they may start lifting their back leg up. So sit. So if when you lift up, they do this, it's purely because you are lifting that treat up far too high too quickly and they're naturally just standing up because they haven't got that core strength muscle. So make sure your luring is really, really slow. The main part is they learn bum stays on the floor. It's only the front half that's moving. And that, I say, the troubleshooting is that you're just doing it a bit too quickly and a bit too soon. So take it down a step so that even if we've got the bum staying where it is and we just got one little feet just like twitching, that's perfect. Sit. So again, doing it wrong, lift up too high, he stands up. We don't want that. If we lift up really slowly, we get the bum staying, we get a little bit ups and downy, but the bum is where we need it to be. So again, as with the other tricks we've done, sit. Once they're used to it, we're then going to hold it a little bit longer. So we just encourage them to stay with that feet up for a longer period of time. Good boy, you stole that before I clicked. And obviously you can use a clicker. You can say good, yes, whatever floats your boat. Sit. I just prefer a clicker, and obviously when I'm doing this, it means I can carry on talking to you and still mark and reward. So again, we're just going to keep working on how long do we stay in the position for. You can see here he's starting to paw my hands. I don't really want that. 2 reasons. It could be because he's like, just give me the treat already. It could be because he's finding it hard. It wasn't square. It wasn't square. He's finding it hard to hold the position for that long. So if you start to see things like that creep in, just take it back, make it a little bit easier. Now, again, next step is we're going to see if you can do it without a treat in the hand. So there's no food in the hand. We're just going to guide him up, click, and then reward. So the clicking is, you're doing it, well done. The treat's coming. So that's why we don't have to feed him in position. Good boy. We click to say that's what I like. He's free to then go back down because the click is your boy. The click is end of task. You're doing so well. Should we do more? Oh, you cuddles. So again, we're luring with no treats. Yay, good boy. I wasn't clicking that time. So now you can start to see I'm luring him without the treat. Ooh. And I'm starting to just have a little bit of a pause and trying to move my hand away and him stay in the position. This is a little bit trickier because naturally, if we've got a treat in our hand, they really, really, really want to follow the treat. Good boy. My click was a little bit late there. And again, that's going to happen, so don't worry if it happens to you. Yeah, good boy. Do you notice there he was staying in the position just while I took my hand away? And he's not used to doing this without a tight lure. So this is sort of the next step up for him. He's been working on this for a little while. So that is our thriller pose. And we can then use this and continue developing it. Obviously, it does have many, many purposes. For Halloween theme, it is the thriller. Again, they're really cute for taking photos, but at the same time, it's really beneficial because it's really good for dogs' core strength and just developing a different skill set.